Imagine this. You're the kind of person who always extends the olive branch. You forgive easily, you overlook red flags, and you consistently give people the benefit of the doubt. But somehow, the more you forgive, the more they walk all over you. What if I told you that your endless grace isn't making you noble, it's quietly training them to disrespect you? According to Friedrich Nietzsche, there's a hard psychological line where forgiveness stops being a virtue and starts becoming self-sabotage. Today, we're exposing 7 toxic behaviors that masquerade as just how people are, but are actually calculated erosions of your personal power. Number 5 will hit you the hardest because almost everyone tolerates it without realizing it's silently draining their self-worth. Stay with me until the very end and hit subscribe, because by the time we're done, you'll never look at forgiveness the same way again. 1. When someone lies deliberately. Let's talk about the first unforgivable act. Deliberate, calculated lying. Now, we all make mistakes. We all tell the occasional white lie to spare someone's feelings or avoid a minor inconvenience. But there is a massive, canyon-wide difference between a clumsy mistake and a premeditated lie. When someone looks you dead in the eye and feeds you a fabrication, knowing full well it will manipulate your reality or cause you pain, that is not a simple slip-up. That is a profound, calculated act of disrespect. Think about what a deliberate lie actually communicates. It's rarely just about the facts being wrong. It's about the underlying, unspoken message they are sending you. When they lie to you on purpose, they are silently saying, "I do not believe you are strong enough to handle the truth." Or worse, "I do not respect your intelligence enough to give it to you." They are treating you like a child to be managed, or worse, like a pawn in their own selfish game. Friedrich Nietzsche viewed truth-telling as a fundamental expression of personal strength and courage. To face reality and to share it honestly requires a spine of steel. The chronic liar, on the other hand, is operating from a place of deep psychological weakness. They lie because they are cowards who lack the courage to face the consequences of their own actions. Nietzsche argued that those who cannot bear the weight of the truth will always resort to illusions. When you continuously forgive someone for deliberate deceit, what are you really doing? You are rewarding their cowardice and enabling their illusions. You are teaching them that they can bend your reality without facing any real consequences. You have to draw a hard line in the sand today. Forgiving a deliberate lie doesn't make you the bigger person. It makes you an active accomplice to your own deception. Your dignity demands that you refuse to participate in a fabricated reality. The next time you catch someone in a deliberate lie, do not let it slide just to keep the peace. The peace was already broken the moment they decided to lie to you. Stand your ground and let them see that your mind is not a playground for their deceit. Have you ever caught someone in a deliberate lie and just let it go to avoid conflict? Drop a comment below and tell me how you handled it, because recognizing this toxic pattern is the very first step to reclaiming your personal power. Your journey to true strength begins when you stop accepting less than the truth. 2. When someone puts you down in front of others. Let's move to the second unforgivable act, public humiliation disguised as just a joke. We've all been there. You're in a group setting and someone makes a snide remark at your expense. The room laughs. The person smirks and hits you with the ultimate shield. Come on, I was just joking. But here is the brutal truth. There is no such thing as an accidental insult. When someone consistently uses you as the punchline in front of an audience, they aren't being funny. They are being predatory. This is a calculated social power play. By belittling you in front of others, they attempt to elevate their own status. They use your dignity as currency to buy a cheap laugh and assert dominance. It's a subtle, cowardly form of aggression. And what usually happens? You force a smile. You chuckle awkwardly to diffuse the tension and avoid looking like a buzzkill. But by laughing along, you actively participate in your own degradation. You silently agree that your worth is subordinate to their amusement. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy cuts right through this social conditioning. He despised the herd mentality, the tendency of people to conform and tear down anyone who stands out. But he also recognized the deeply insecure nature of those who try to exert power over others. A truly sovereign individual, someone who has mastered their own will to power, does not need to step on others to feel tall. Public ridicule is the weapon of the weak. It is the tactic of someone who lacks genuine substance and must manufacture superiority by diminishing you. Nietzsche taught that your value must come from within, forged by your own standards, not handed to you by the mockery of the crowd. When you allow someone to mock you publicly without consequence, you're handing them the pen to write your story. To reclaim your power, you must stop reacting with nervous laughter. The next time someone disguises an insult as a joke in public, do not smile. Look them dead in the eye, let the silence hang heavy, and calmly ask, "Can you explain what you mean by that?" Watch how quickly their false courage evaporates. They will immediately backtrack, claiming you have no sense of humor or that you are taking things too seriously. But you will know the truth. You simply refuse to be their victim. Have you ever been on the receiving end of a joke that actually stung? How did you respond? Let me know in the comments below. Sharing your experiences helps us all learn how to set firmer boundaries. 3. When someone constantly ignores your boundaries. Let's move on to the third unforgivable act, the relentless violation of your boundaries. Boundaries are not just arbitrary rules you make up to be difficult. They are the physical, mental, and emotional perimeter of your self-respect. They define exactly what you will and will not tolerate in your own life. But here is the harsh reality. Some people treat your boundaries like mere suggestions. You say, "No," and they hear, "Try harder." You ask for space and they demand your time. This isn't a misunderstanding. This is a power play. Why does this happen? Because human nature is inherently opportunistic. People will always push until they hit a solid, immovable wall. If your no is soft, if it's followed by a long apology, or if you quickly cave to keep the peace, they will keep pushing. They are testing the structural integrity of your self-worth, and if you never push back, they will consume you entirely. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy cuts straight to the core of this dynamic through his concept of self-legislation. Nietzsche believed that a truly strong, sovereign individual is one who creates their own values and lives by their own laws. But here is the catch. You cannot establish your own law if you are constantly living by someone else's. The ability to say a definitive, unapologetic yes to your own life requires the absolute power to say a ruthless no to anything that diminishes you. If you cannot enforce your boundaries, you are not a free individual. You are a subject living under the rules dictated by those who have no respect for you. To reclaim your power, you must stop over-explaining your limits. When you give a massive list of reasons why you can't do something, you aren't setting a boundary. You are asking for permission to have one. A boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion. The next time someone crosses the line, do not argue. Do not negotiate. Simply enforce the consequence. Step back. Withdraw your energy. Let them feel the sudden, chilling absence of your presence. What is one boundary you constantly struggle to enforce with the people around you? Be honest and share your thoughts in the comments below. Sometimes just admitting it out loud is the first step to finally holding the line and protecting your peace. 4. When someone constantly takes advantage of your kindness. Let's confront the fourth unforgivable act, the relentless exploitation of your kindness. We are taught that being generous and accommodating is a high virtue. You are the person everyone calls in a crisis. You stay late to help. You always show up. You are the shoulder everyone cries on. But there is a dark side to being the endless giver. When your kindness is met not with gratitude, but with an insatiable appetite for more, it stops being a virtue. It becomes a vulnerability that others will ruthlessly exploit. Think about the people who constantly take from you. Notice how they only appear when they need a favor, a loan, or an emotional rescue. But the moment you need support, they become unreachable. This is not a relationship. This is an extraction. They do not see you as a human being with limits. They see you as a utility, a resource to be mined until it runs dry. Friedrich Nietzsche was fiercely critical of this dynamic. He warned against a twisted morality that glorifies endless self-sacrifice. Nietzsche observed that when you project an aura of infinite availability, you do not attract noble people. You attract emotional parasites. He argued that true respect cannot exist in a relationship built on exploitation. If someone only values you for what you can do for them, they do not respect you. They view you as a convenient tool. To break this cycle, you must understand a brutal truth. Your kindness is only valuable if it is given selectively. When you give your time and energy to people who do not reciprocate, you are not being noble. You are devaluing yourself. You are teaching the world that your needs come last. It is time to close the tap. Start observing the reciprocity in your life. If you take a step back and stop fixing everyone's problems, who remains? The answer will tell you everything you need to know about who truly values you. Think about the most draining relationship in your life right now. Is there someone who only reaches out when they need something? Share your story in the comments below. Naming the dynamic out loud is often the catalyst you need to finally protect your energy. 5. When someone treats you like an option. Let's confront the fifth unforgivable act. And honestly, this is the one that almost everyone tolerates today without even realizing it's silently destroying their self-esteem. Being treated like an option. We live in an era of digital convenience, and unfortunately, this has bled into how people treat each other. You know exactly what this looks like. They only reach out when they are bored, lonely, or need a favor. They cancel plans on you at the very last minute without a second thought. They disappear for weeks, ignoring your messages, only to pop back up in your DMs, acting as if nothing ever happened. In these moments, you are not a priority. You are a backup plan. You are sitting in the waiting room of their life, hoping they finally decide to call your name. This constant cycle of hope and disappointment is a form of emotional manipulation, keeping you hooked on the bare minimum. And the most painful part? You keep showing up. You keep making time for them, hoping that one day they will realize your worth. But here is the brutal, unvarnished truth. When someone treats you like an option, it is largely because you have allowed them to. You have made yourself endlessly available to someone who only gives you their leftovers. Friedrich Nietzsche believed with absolute conviction that every individual must create their own value. You cannot outsource your self-worth to someone else's schedule. A person who truly understands their own value, the sovereign individual Nietzsche wrote about, simply does not allow themselves to be treated as a mere alternative. If someone cannot make you a priority, the strong response is not to wait around. It is to remove yourself from their options entirely. When you accept being a backup plan, you are sending a devastating message to your own subconscious. You are telling yourself that you are not worth primary attention. You are betraying your own time. To reclaim your power, you must become fiercely protective of your presence. Stop dropping everything the second they finally decide to text back. Match their level of effort, or better yet, withdraw your energy completely. Have you ever finally realized you were just a backup plan to someone you cared about? How did it feel? And your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today to finally walk away. 6. When someone minimizes your emotions. Let's talk about the sixth unforgivable act, the subtle, insidious minimization of your emotions. You open up to someone, you explain what you're feeling. Maybe you're hurt, frustrated, or simply overwhelmed by life. And what's their immediate response? You're overreacting. It's not that big of a deal. You're just too sensitive. This is not just a dismissive comment, it is a profound form of emotional manipulation. It's a calculated tactic designed to make you doubt your own internal compass. When someone consistently invalidates your feelings, they are quietly rewriting your reality. Over time, the psychological toll is devastating. You start to believe that your emotions are wrong, that your pain is an inconvenience, and that your inner world is somehow defective. You begin to police your own reactions just to avoid their judgment, effectively silencing your own soul. Friedrich Nietzsche understood that our emotions are not random glitches or signs of weakness. They are the raw, unfiltered expression of our will, our deepest values, and our lived experience. To dismiss someone's emotions is to dismiss their very reality. Nietzsche argued that a strong, sovereign individual honors their own instincts and feelings as the absolute foundation of their truth. He believed that to deny your emotions is to deny a fundamental part of your existence. When someone ridicules or minimizes your emotional experience, they are attempting to strip you of your personal authority. They are trying to make you a subject of their emotional reality, rather than the undisputed ruler of your own. You must never forgive the continuous belittling of your inner world. Your feelings are valid simply because you feel them. The next time someone hits you with, "You're too sensitive," do not shrink. Do not apologize for your humanity. Look at them and recognize that their inability to handle your emotions is a reflection of their own profound limitations, not yours. Protect your emotional landscape fiercely, because it is the very ground upon which your personal power is built. How many times have you been told you were too sensitive when you were just expressing a genuine hurt? Drop a comment below and let's validate each other today. Remember, your feelings are your compass, and no one else gets to hold the map. 7. When someone betrays your trust. Let's confront the seventh and final unforgivable act, the devastating betrayal of trust. Trust is the invisible, sacred currency of any meaningful relationship. It takes years of consistent, honorable action to build, but only one cowardly moment to shatter into a million irreparable pieces. When someone betrays you, whether it's through infidelity, sharing your darkest secrets, or stabbing you in the back for personal gain, it is never just a simple mistake. It is a profound, glaring revelation of their true character. Friedrich Nietzsche placed immense, almost sacred value on the ability to make a promise and actually keep it. In his philosophy, the memory of the will, the sheer mental fortitude required to say, "I will," and stand by it no matter what, is the ultimate marker of a sovereign, free individual. A betrayer, by contrast, is someone who entirely lacks this memory. They make commitments and swear loyalty only when it is convenient for them, but they abandon those vows the second it requires actual sacrifice. To Nietzsche, the betrayer is morally bankrupt, operating purely on the impulses of the weak. Society constantly pressures us to forgive and forget. We are told that holding on to grudges is toxic and that we should always give people a second chance. But when it comes to deep, calculated betrayal, blind forgiveness is not a virtue. It is a profound act of self-abandonment. If you immediately let someone back into your life after they have shattered your trust, without forcing them to do the grueling, painful work of rebuilding it from scratch, you are sending a dangerous message. You are teaching them that your trust is cheap. You are showing them that they can break you, disrespect you, and you will still conveniently stay. Forgiveness in this context becomes a trap that keeps you tethered to someone who has already proven they do not value the bond you share. You owe it to yourself to walk away and protect your peace. You must become the ruthless gatekeeper of your inner circle. A truly strong individual does not beg for loyalty. They command it through their own unbreakable standards. If someone betrays you, do not hand them the glue to fix the damage for free. Let the pieces stay broken. Their betrayal is not a reflection of your worthiness. It is a glaring neon sign of their own deep, unfixable weakness. Have you ever had your trust completely shattered by someone you thought would never hurt you? How did you navigate the painful aftermath? Share your story in the comments below. Sometimes reading how others survived the unthinkable gives us the exact strength we need to finally heal and move on. Forgiveness is a beautiful quality, but forgiving everything is not wisdom. It is often a quiet form of self-abandonment. Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophy reminds us of one essential truth. The respect others give you is a direct reflection of the respect you demand for yourself. When you refuse to tolerate these 7 toxic behaviors, you show the world that your dignity is absolutely non-negotiable. Paradoxically, it is exactly at that moment that people finally begin to treat you with the reverence you deserve. Not everything deserves your forgiveness. Some things simply deserve your absolute distance. Protect your peace. Subscribe for more.